Hi everyone, welcome to Soul Centered. My name is Ariella Halevi and this is my husband, Baruch Halevi.
I am, like every time we start this, I'm still her husband. Day 14.
Thank God, he's still my husband.
I said day 14.
Okay, anyways, so we are here to invite you and welcome you to Soul Centered, a center for loss, meaning, and healing. And this is a dream that Baruch and I have had for 20 plus years of marriage, and we have finally seen it through. And we are so excited to invite you to really come and center your soul. I am the creator of the Divine Body Wisdom Program, and I am all things healing. So I help people connect to their body and soul wisdom so they can heal on a very deep level, physically, spiritually, and emotionally. And why don't you introduce yourself?
Guess I'll be introducing myself. Minimal, because we have like now 50 videos. We're rolling, lots of content for you. It's all there for times like this. We're a center of grief and loss, meaning and spirituality, and healing and connection. Those are the three categories you'll see on our website. So it's there for you to help guide you. And this is the soul experience. Every night we're doing a different experience. You can read about it online, but it's simply to center ourselves around our soul. It's ecumenical. Some of the things we're doing are really grounded in Kabbalah, Jewish mysticism. This isn't one. This is more of a generic spiritual pathway for anybody and everybody, and everything we do is for everybody. So feel free to join in. The chants and the prayers are very simple. We're going to focus today, I believe, on an important topic, one that everybody seems to be excited about when you talk about it, though it's kind of like a hush-hush conversation in some circles, and that is spirits, spirit guides, angels, and the role that they play in our life in general, and especially during times of difficulty, if not tragedy.
So we'll begin with a song. It's called "Oh Lord, Prepare Me," and it's a song about creating a sanctuary. And especially in these times, it's very important for us to create. We are very lucky and very fortunate to have a home. Not everybody has a home, but everyone has a home inside of their hearts and inside of their bodies. And it's just a matter of tapping in and connecting to really find that center inside of you that you can call home. Oh Lord, prepare me to be a sanctuary, pure and holy, tried and true, and with thanksgiving, I'll be a living sanctuary for you. Oh Lord, prepare me to be a sanctuary, pure and holy, tried and true, and with thanksgiving, I'll be a living sanctuary for you.
So we're going to reflect again on angels, spirits, spirit guides, and here's a Kabbalistic idea. We'll try and draw from many traditions, but I do default to Kabbalah, and this is by Rabbi David Cooper, well-known modern Kabbalist, who writes that angels are like invisible metaphysical energy bundles that act like magnets, causing physical changes by means of forces that are invisible to the eye, which is really more of a complicated way of saying it's energy, right? Look, there's no answer. We're going to be exploring different vantage points and viewpoints and experiences of angels and spirits, but this is one I think of as the kind of the energy of these divine beings in our lives. And so I think we'll take a moment and we'll just center ourselves around our soul, and using Om from more of a Buddhist tradition, the sound of energy, the sound of tonight, thinking about the spirits, the angels that are around us, that are within us. Taking a few moments to really harness our energy during a time that feels like our energy is being scattered in different places outside of us. And so I invite you to take that centeredness and bring it into the next portion of our service, our experience. And really that's meditation, but meditation is just a centering inside of yourself. And so just closing your eyes and sitting quietly and relaxing the body as much as possible. Taking a few deep breaths, inhaling and exhaling. And imagine that you are breathing in healing waves of energy. Just breathing in and breathing out easily and effortlessly. Feel the shoulders and the belly begin to relax, the hips, the feet. Your entire body begins to relax. And just begin to turn your attention to any part of you that is in need of healing. So often in this time we are on what feels like a roller coaster. The fear rises and then it lets go. Peace comes back perhaps a little bit more. The intensity of stress comes in like waves crashing down, and then it disappears back into the waves of ocean-like qualities inside of our body. So I invite you to just become present with what is right now. We often want to run from these feelings, to push them away, to cover them up with positivity or things that help us feel better. And I'm going to invite you to feel these feelings. They're here anyway, and let them come to the light. When we welcome all that is here, we can find a sense of calm and gentleness and seeing ourselves through compassionate eyes. Just welcome all of your emotions now. Begin to imagine yourself surrounded by beautiful angels. And as you surround yourself by these angels, they're opening up these places of tension, stress, anxiety, and fear. The places inside of us that need healing. And imagine that they are healing you with cleansing water. Envision now droplets of beautiful sparkling water healing all those tight places. Our stress, our fatigue, our overwhelm. Watch as the water transforms us into a remembering of wholeness, stillness, oneness. Envision this healing water going beyond us and into the world itself, repairing what is broken, what is sad, what is ill, and what needs our light. And breathing into your present moment, which is all that we have, using our breath to imagine waves of healing water traveling over us, breathing into the here and now, knowing that we are alive here and now and finding a sense of gratitude.
Again, if you can, feeling these beautiful healing angels surround us, guiding us and helping us, bringing us to the light, feeling the gentle rise and fall of your breath. Imagine as you open your eyes, perhaps just leaving those angels right at your shoulder for when those big feelings arise again. And you can open your eyes when you're ready. So we'll continue as we imagine healing waves of energy, water, and divine flow coming over us. We imagine a beautiful, beautiful light inside of our hearts. And just becoming aware of the wholeness that is your essence, of the pure heart within all of us, that when we strip away the stress, fatigue, the lack of communication, or the just stuff of life, of our personality cells, of our body cells, we go into the essence, the soul of who we are, and it is just pure, and it is love, and it is light. Create a pure heart in me, Great Spirit. Create a pure heart in me. Create a pure heart in me, Great Spirit. Create a pure heart in me. And renew a true soul within me, and renew a true soul within, and renew a true soul within me, and renew a true soul within. Yadai, dai, 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 yadai, dai, yadai, yadai, dai, 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 yadai, dai, 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 yadai, yadai, dai, yadai, dai, dai, yadai. Yadai, dai, yadai, dai, 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 dai. Yadai, dai, 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 dai. Yadai, dai, yadai, dai, yadai, dai, yadai.
So I was just reading a quote by Thomas Carlyle, who says, music is well said to be the speech of angels. And from a Kabbalistic Hasidic tradition where I come from, music is used as a way to kind of open up channels, connect worlds. There are different worlds in Kabbalah. And this world and the next world can be bridged with music, which is this kind of back to the idea of energy. And so before we have a conversation about angels and spirits, and I'd love to hear from you all, Billy and Larry, what's happening, and Steve, on spirits, angels, experiences in your lives. I'm going to open it up with a word that everybody seems to know, Amen, which means I believe in angels. Amen, amen, amen. Amen, amen, amen. La la la, la la la, la la la, amen, amen. La la la, la la la, amen, amen, amen. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 amen, amen, amen. Yeah, yeah, la, yeah, la, la, yeah, yeah, la, la. Yeah, la, la, amen, amen, amen. Yeah, la, la, yeah, la, la. Yeah, la, la, amen, amen. Yeah, la, la, yeah, la, la. Yeah, la, la, amen, amen. So at the Soul Experience, which is Thursday night right now, and what we're doing is really just opportunities to get soul centered, to return to what's essential and central in our lives. And we do that through chanting and song. Ariella leads the song, I lead the chanting. She has the song voice, I have the chanting voice. And then we meet with discussion. It's an important thing to have discussion, two-way, three-way, multiple-way conversations to really get into an idea and to kind of come at it from different angles. And we have very different worldviews, and yet we meet the center, soul center. And so we would also welcome your voice, your thoughts. Justin, Shane, welcome. Just joined. Type in your thoughts about angels, spirits, spirit guides. Before we get into it, as a rabbi, I would say it's one of the greatest losses I've seen in American Judaism is this disbelief or believing that Judaism doesn't believe in angels. So my friends who are Christian, Catholic, right, just turn to it naturally, organically. And I spend a lot of time helping people reorient themselves to spirits, spirit guide, angels, this realm of the unseen, because it's there in the shared tradition. In Judaism and Kabbalah, it's there. But all traditions seem to have this need, this pull towards spirits and angels. I think it's a human need, but I also think it's a reality. I've sat with hundreds of people on their deathbed, and people who you never would have thought talking about spirits, seeing something that isn't necessarily physically present in the room, or at least not to the visible eye, start talking about the same things. And I know you've had that experience as well. And to me, that's a sign, when our guard is down, when our ego is down, when we get out of our head and into our heart, that moment, I imagine, of our deathbed transition, you're just real and you're honest and you allow yourself to experience whatever is there. And it's a very beautiful, I think, powerful thing.
I think that you're touching on something that when your defenses are down and when you're close to death, that is when the personality self, the body self decreases and the spirit increases, enhances. But the question is, how do we find that in our day-to-day lives? And I think that part of that is the body does a leave-taking. It leaves the world, and that we can replicate this leave-taking by turning towards silence, by finding angels, God, divine, whatever you call it, spirits, past loved ones, by finding them in the silent spaces in between our lives. Because when things are so busy and chaotic, when we have lives that are just way too busy, it's really hard to not only hear our intuition, but also to attract spirits and angels and guidance. And so the invitation really is to find your sense of stillness within the day-to-day world. And I know we both have had meditation practices for years, but anybody has this access. You think that you have to really have a special gift, and yes, people do have gifts, but really we all have the access to tap into our angels and to our guides.
It's true. My sister, many of you know, is a psychic spiritual medium. She calls herself Rebecca Rosen, and she has this. She, I think, uses the metaphor of one of those old radio dials, right? Where everybody can tune in. Some people just know where to tune into more and are accustomed to tuning in. And so I don't have that same ability in her capacity. I have my own ability. Hers is hers. Ariella's is hers. Mine is mine. Every morning I sit in meditation, Ariella mentioned, but I'm kind of manifest it. I visualize it. And in that visualization, some people might say it's just me thinking about my dead loved ones. My best friend Mark and my dad are there in my circle every morning. It's kind of like this little C-suite of spiritual beings that I meet with and kind of consult every single morning for a very long time. And I just see and I feel and I hear them talking to me. And you can say it's your mind, but I don't think so. The things I hear and the things I feel don't feel like they're mine. They feel like they're being given to me. And it's this experience of receiving. I mean, that's what Kabbalah means, is to receive. And I guess it's about really opening yourself up to tuning in on the dial.
For me, I've spent years just longing to be able to talk to my loved ones who've passed, longing to connect daily to spirits and angels and guides. And it wasn't until I realized that my emotions were stopping me from having from creating that stillness inside, that I discovered that so in my meditation, once I sit with my emotions, once I sit with what's going on in the world and my body and my family, and I sift those out, I create space inside of myself for stillness. And that's when I feel as if I'm downloading messages from beyond. That is when I feel my guidance system come in. I get answers to the questions that I have in life. I get answers to the questions, the issues that I'm struggling with, because I've created space and stillness inside of me. But I can't force my way in. I can't get there if I'm struggling emotionally. So I'm just an emotional person, and I attract people around me, besides you, that are emotional beings. You're emotional. But in terms of working with people, I can now see their systems, their energy inside of them. And once I help them get clear, we can create space for divine energy to come in, for angels to talk to us.
You know, and it's not always esoteric. I mean, my sister's on. Hey, tell me if you get any hits, any readings. So we're going to tell you an amazing tangible story. It isn't that always spirit is esoteric. There is an intersection with this world. In Kabbalah, this world is called Olam, and the hidden world is called Ne'elam, and they're the same thing, right? There's this intersection between worlds that sometimes is made manifest, where angel spirit makes itself manifest. And this happened to us very recently. Probably one of the more profound, maybe the most profound and extreme examples, like put on your virtual seatbelts. This is like nuts. Am I telling it?
No, I'm telling it.
You sure?
Yeah.
You're going to get the timeline and everything right?
You can correct me if I'm wrong.
Okay, there we go.
Are you ready? Okay. I've mentioned this before, about 3.5 weeks ago, my grandmother, who was 96 years old, she passed away. And my grandfather died 28 years ago. And throughout this whole process of her dying, I kept telling her that we called it the Ma and Pa. Pa is with you. He is waiting at the gates. I was very open with her. When you pass away, it's as if he's going to catch you and hold you in the light. She wasn't there for you. My grandmother was the most non-believer there has ever been. And she just opened to it because she had nothing else. She was so scared that she knew that if she jumped, she would jump into his arms. My grandfather has been my rock for 28 years. I have a picture of him in my office. He is my go-to guy. When I'm struggling, I talk to my grandfather. He has, in real life, also been just a source of strength for my entire family. So throughout this coronavirus, it was last week, we were told to quarantine and not to go to any places that are loud and populated. So what did Baruch and I do? We moved about less than a year ago. We moved across the street across the street from a cemetery. So where do you go when you need quiet and not a lot of people and just silence and souls? You go to a cemetery.
Don't tell everybody. We love the cemetery. It's empty.
Go.
At least it's empty physically. Spiritually, is
right.
Another thing.
And so we are doing our walk. We're just walking and talking, and we're talking about my grandmother, and we're talking about my grandfather, and just really just having this really deep conversation about them and about the impact they've had in my life, and just we're in deep. And my husband and Baruch looks to the right of us, and he says, "Oh my God, right next to us is a gravestone that says Doc. Doc is my grandfather's last name." And we were like, wow, we were just talking about him. This is crazy. So we get closer to the gravestone, and not only does it say Doc, but right below it, it says Stephen Doc. Stephen Doc was my grandfather, who's buried in Los Angeles 28 years ago. So this is really strange, and we think it's almost spelled exactly the same way. He didn't spell it the traditional way. by one letter, it was the same. So we are like, wow, this is really intense. Like, Pa must be here with us. I look again, and this man, Stephen Dock, died in 1992. My grandfather died in 1992. So now we are absolutely blown away, and we feel the presence of my grandfather so strongly, and we cannot believe that this is actually real. And how did we even move across the street from the cemetery anyway?
And talking about him and walking into a cemetery with says Stephen Dock 1992. But, wait, there's more.
Just wait. So a few days go by, and I think, wow, that was amazing. My grandfather really showed himself to us.
But you couldn't shake it. You were like still.
Yeah, I just couldn't believe it. I told my kids it was so amazing. And 3 days later, I'm on the phone with my dad. My dad loves genealogy. He's got notebooks full of all the family tree stuff. So I say to my dad, you're never going to believe this. And I sent him the picture of the gravestone. I said, look who was with me. Pa was with me. Stephen Dock is right here, across the street. And he said, Ariella, I know who that Stephen Dock was. I know him because 40-something years ago, your grandfather told me that he was in conversation and met Stephen Dock from Denver, Colorado. And
they're both insurance guys, and they met at a conference or something.
They met at a conference 40-something years ago in 1977. They met at a...
Yeah, whatever. Long time.
So they met. And so my dad says, wait, remember when you were at your grandma's funeral and you stayed with me 3 weeks ago? I gave you a white notebook because my dad loves to collect things and pictures and letters and everything. He said, where's the notebook? And I said, the notebook is behind me whenever I meditate.
It's right over here.
And he said, go get the notebook. I think that there's a letter in there that I saved that was from Stephen Dock in Denver to your grandfather, Stephen Dock, a long, long time ago. He's like, I'm not sure. I might have thrown it away, but go check. So I go and I get this notebook. It's a miracle that I actually knew where it was. I get it and I flip through it, and what do I find is a letter from Stephen Dock of Denver to Stephen Dock in Los Angeles, talking about the amazing coincidence that they have the same exact name. They're trying to figure out if they're related, and they say that how amazing it was that I guess this man's son also met my grandfather in Los Angeles. So I'm sitting here with a letter that was written in 1977. The Stephen Dock of Denver's house was down the street from the house that we live in right now. And it goes on.
It does?
Yes. So one more thing is that I have connected with the son. And also that morning, as I'm just in awe of the message from beyond, I come home from a walk and my husband, Baruch, says, it's amazing. Aviv, our son, has been singing this one song, and he's a big singer, over and over and over again all morning. It's so cute. And I was like, oh, what song? And he says, Somewhere Over the Rainbow. And I start crying and bawling. And he said, why?
I was like, oh, what do I do now?
And he said, why are you crying? I said, because Somewhere Over the Rainbow, it was the song that my grandparents got married to when they got married. It's also the song that my sister played when my grandma died and my aunt played. It's also the song that we played at her funeral. And my son was singing that song as I was piecing these pieces together and putting the puzzle pieces together, that my grandfather and my grandmother were really present in our lives this past week. And we really felt their presence and their strength and their love.
And it's just, again, coming back to spirit guide, angels, really opening our eyes. First of all, asking. Second of all, being open to the possibilities. Third of all, looking through different eyes, different lens, listening in a different way. Not necessarily thinking, but feeling. And when you're in that space of feeling and kind of a knowing, trusting that knowing is coming from somewhere, something beyond yourself. You asked for it, you got it, now receive it. And look at the power, the transformation I've seen in Ariella because of that, and the gift of her grandfather from beyond. Just keeps going on.
Yeah, it's really changed. It's really changed my life. And really, what Baruch said as we end is trusting that what you hear is real, that what you feel and the signs that you're getting is asking and trusting that what you're getting is real. It's very real. And then continuing to open and to ask for more.
And my sister's still on. You don't need her to do your readings. You should go to her things and get a reading because it's like, wow, it's an opening. But she'll be the first to tell you, you're your own psychic. You have this gift. It's back to the radio dial. You gotta work at it and learn to tune in. And it doesn't just come in one way. She started through journaling. I journal. I kind of get it. There's just 1,000 different mediums to this message. So be your own medium and find your own messages. And now more than ever before, open yourself to the possibility that you're not alone because you're not alone. And so with that, should we connect to Spirit?
Yeah. We'll
connect to Spirit. We have a prayer that we say traditionally when the loved one dies called Kaddish. We've really adapted it, extracted from it the essence, the message. We'll just probably even just do it in English. Mm-hmm. And it's an opportunity to formally channel our loved one's spirit, pay tribute to them, and receive the messages that they have for us. And so feel free to shut your eyes or share your loved one's name, and I'll say it out loud, or you can certainly say it as well.
So again, just closing your eyes and really coming into this idea that there is something greater beyond us. May the one within and above bless us with your love. May the source of infinite light guide us in our life. May the one within and above bless us with your love. May the source of infinite light guide us in our life. Shalom, 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 shalom.
So we'll end with prayer. You want to read the Buddhist prayer? Yeah. Prayer for everybody who's struggling right now, everybody who's suffering, sending our love, our intention, our prayers, asking that the angels, the spirits, be there for them, especially the angel of Raphael. Raphael in Kabbalah is the angel of healing, Refuah. So asking the angel to really be there in energy and healing spirit. And Ariella has a Buddhist prayer.
I'm actually going to do the prayer for healing.
Prayer for healing.
Source of all life and healing, be with me in this time of physical, emotional, and spiritual need. Help me cope with the challenges I'm facing. Comfort and encourage those who love and care and whose lives have been unsettled and disrupted by illness. I pray for patience and understanding. I pray for strength and wisdom. I pray for healing and for inner peace. The light of the divine surrounds me. The love of the divine enfolds me. The power of the divine protects me. The presence of the divine watches over me wherever I am. All is well.
And I'll share this one. It's more of a kind of a general prayer, but it comes from the Buddhist tradition, and it's very appropriate for this time of anxiety and doubt and fear. And that's why we're doing the soul experience. And Ariella does the healing experience. I do the meaning experience. Saturday morning, we do the Shabbat experience, grounded more in Judaism and Kabbalah. Welcome to everybody. We try and draw from all great wisdom traditions to help guide us through this very difficult time. May all beings everywhere plagued with sufferings of body and mind quickly be freed from their illnesses. May those frightened cease to be afraid, and may those bound to be free. May the powerless find power, and may people think of befriending one another. May those who find themselves in trackless, fearful wilderness, the children, the aged, the unprotected, be guarded by beneficent celestial beings, by angels. And may they swiftly attain Buddhahood. May they swiftly attain enlightenment. May they swiftly attain a sense of peace and life and light and love. And with that, we'll end with love, because love is all there is.
So I invite you to close your eyes and imagine holding the whole world inside of your arms. And I imagine and I open and I pray that we can see our world and all the people who inhabit our world as one, opening to our wholeness, opening to love, to find deep inside the recesses of our heart that we are all one and that love is all there is. Yai dai, yai dai 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 dai, yai dai 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 dai, yai dai 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 dai, yai dai, yai dai 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 dai. Yai dai 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 dai. Yai dai 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 dai. Love, love is all there is. Love is all there is. Love is all there is. Love, love is all there is. Love is all there is. Love is all there is. Yai dai, yai dai 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 dai. Yai dai 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 dai. Yai dai 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 dai. Yai dai. Yai dai 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 dai. Yai dai 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 dai. Yai dai dai dai.
Love is all there is. We'll be back on Saturday morning. We invite you to join us 8:30 a.m. Mountain Time, 9:30 Central Time, 10:30 East Coast Time. You do the rest of the time zones around the world. Love to have you. Anybody, everybody. We do this so that you can feel filled and fulfilled during a time that is less than fulfilling. And we just ask one thing, that you reach out to other people. Maybe share this, but share something with them to know that, to remind them that they're not alone. Nobody should be alone ever.
Also, reach out to us if you have comments, if you have questions, if you have thoughts that you want to share. We're here to help you, to guide you, and to just listen. So, and to help you center your soul. We hope you have a wonderful night, and to find silence and really ask for your angels and your guidance and your spirit guides to come in and to guide you. Namaste.
Amen. And namaste, shalom, salam, peace.